I don't know what you can see and can't see, but whatever.
It looks clean.
This place puts breadcrumbs in the macaroni. I don't like it.
I found that out a long time ago. Breadcrumbs for me and macaroni don't mix. Also, mustard and macaroni don't mix for
What?
me.
Correct.
I,
Or I don't want
I
spicy or zesty macaroni.
just give me my macaroni, as the Southerners call it, as the Northerners call it, macaroni casserole. Just give me my macaroni with some cheese, some
I
eggs.
knew that I was running a risk ordering the mac because I didn't order the mac last time. I just ordered some baked beans. But I was like, let's try the mac. I'm never gonna try the mac again.
If I see macaroni and cheese on a menu, I let somebody else order it and I'll try a forkful. But I never order macaroni until
I
I've
don't have
tried it.
nobody else. I couldn't do it, but I tried. I ain't never
And
gonna do it again.
speaking of nobody else, so
Uh-huh.
I know
What kind of
one of the
segue that is?
wait,
That's how I
that's
know it's
how we
about to be some
segment
shady
nowadays.
trash. I know it's about to be shady.
Speaking of your non-relationship having ass,
Hey,
no, I was looking at TikTok, and so people were so irate at Tyler Perry. Did you? What's your thoughts on it? I want to hear your thoughts first.
wait, can we play? Can we play the clip?
I wish we could. Can we
I don't have
do
my other phone. I gotta get the other phone to play the clip.
it? Okay.
Hold on, let me go get it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me go to IG. Cause Tyler Perry got the people with their panties.
Irate.
up.
They are upset.
Okay, I'm just gonna type in Tyler. I'm sure he's gonna pop up somewhere.
You
Somebody
know,
has it tagged.
already.
I'm pretty sure. I think this is it. Turn my volume up.
Most part. So if you can find love, if that man works, whatever job, and is a good man, and is good to you, and honors the house and honors his wife, and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift. Exactly. That is okay. It's not somebody who's beneath you. That's somebody who can even love you at your worth. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yeah, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you can the light bill, maybe you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine. Yeah. That's fine. It's so hard for a lot of people to take in because it means, no, no, no.
Okay, Tyler of the Perrys. Okay, Tyler of the
Okay.
Perrys got the girls and the guys out here high a little bit. First of all, I just want to say that was the most lukewarm bullshit I ever heard in my life. Sir, sit down.
Coming
Let me
from him.
let me tell you something. Just because every man in your movies and plays matches that description does not mean that that's what we actually want. That was your perception when you were writing those roles because that's what you saw. And so that is what you illustrated through. But that is not what women want. That is what we have had to deal with. Here's the thing. Why are black women being told that we have to step up more and accept less? We are the only group that is being taught that lesson, that is being told that
Mm-hmm.
lesson. And I want us to, I really want us to understand how the two arguments between black men and black women are contradicting themselves. So in some cases, you have men saying things like Tyler Perry, like, uh, you have Tyler Perry saying, if he doesn't make anything and all he can pay is the light bill, as long as he's a good man and he's content with himself. Let me tell you something. Ain't no man that could just pay the light bill gonna be content with himself. If he already knows that you make more than him, okay, cool, but also he can barely contribute now, that turmoil is not with us. That's gonna be that's internal.
Mm-hmm.
Because now he feels less than a man because men have been told that your worth is in what you can do. Your worth is in providing. Your worth is
Yeah.
in protecting. And so that's how they tend to measure themselves. Not saying that it's right, not saying that this is what we do, but we know that this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other end, you also have people saying that women are too educated and and that we make too much money. And I'm like, where are these things coming from? Those are two contradicting, those are two
They are.
concepts of you're saying that it's okay that he's not the type of man that he probably feels he should be, but then also you're now telling the woman she's doing too much. Well, which
Right.
one is it?
Right.
Which one y'all really want? Like, I really feel like at this point, it is just a goal to pass the blame, whatever that is. If you did not meet the mark of whatever you assumed you would be and have in life, let's go ahead and pass it down to the woman next to you that got the job and you didn't. Let's
Right.
blame her. I feel like at this point, we're just trying to find somebody to blame for our shortcomings. And that goes to like women being unmarried. We're trying to find shortcomings in men as to why we're not married and why we don't have the lives we want to live. I feel like men who are not getting married and saying that it's because of money and all of that stuff, we're just trying to find someone to blame for these shortcomings instead of looking inwardly, or instead of actually having productive conversations with one another to say,
Right.
hey, what is it that you truly need and want? The best conversation I heard as of late was with Jamal Bryant and whatever those guys' name is on YouTube. They have a podcast. And they were talking to Jamal Bryant, and I feel like he gave the best sound advice, speaking specifically to men. His name is, let me go find it. The podcast is called Hardly Initiated. Two
Mm.
guys, two younger guys. I think they're probably in their late 20s, early 30s. And so they had Pastor Jamal Bryant on there. And he was like, no, we're not talking about women today. We're going to talk about men. And we're going to get straight down to what men need and what y'all say y'all want, but y'all don't act like y'all actually want.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that was probably the most sound thing that's actually come out as of recent, including the podcast that was done with Dr. Umar. People can't stand
Mm.
Dr. Umar, but he spoke
They
facts when he did.
kid.
But he
He
spoke facts.
ruffled some feathers.
He definitely did. But I feel like that sounded real good coming from Mr. Tyler Perry. Did it make sense? Absolutely not, because we're not asking any other group of women to do that. And I don't want to use the litmus test of white women, because we always say like, oh, but the white woman is not. I don't use the white woman as a litmus test, so she's not my
I'm not
barometer
her.
of how I measure myself. But
Mm-hmm.
we are not asking any other class or group of women to just accept that we receive less. What I would have hoped to hear from Mr. Perry was a charge for men to do more.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, and we don't have to just take it financially of doing more financial, but just doing more as a person, doing more in your relationship, being a whole person. So if you do have a problem with making less and you know you can't make more right now, who are we talking to about this? Do you have any strong men in your corner? Do you have any leadership around you? Like, I really would have hoped that he would have taken that moment to charge men
Mm-hmm.
be more and to empower men. But instead, he did the same thing that people are constantly doing, harping on
The
women.
woman. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like it. I also didn't think it was worth making no think piece about, because I feel like everybody's making think pieces. But I didn't like it though. I thought it was trash, and I thought like he didn't use his platform the way he could have. But also, if that's just how he feels, then
It's like, so for me,
speak your truth, girl.
I feel like, okay. Okay, so number one, what was said, I don't feel like should have came from Tyler Perry's mouth. Yes, he has been at a certain income level, but now you're up there, so your perception of who people are in relationships is completely different than what's actually out there now. And for you to give any advice on what a woman should accept in her life, that, yeah, no, just all the way to that. Secondly, I completely agree with you. It should not been a conversation to bring the crusade of women to stand up and be there for men. It should have been, okay, men, if we're not doing this, then maybe. Now, I will say that he did say if you're taking care of everything else, it's just your income that is not there. I get that. I come from a young marriage, so like we had to build each other up. Now I get it when people get to a certain age, you come to stuff with a bunch.
Right.
But I'm not gonna lie, we came to each other with school books and debt. so so I understand. I understand what he was saying, but he said it all wrong. Like I can say verbatim what he meant to say, but it didn't come off that way. I get it
But
that he was telling women, or which he should not be telling women what to do at all. But I get it that he was saying to women that, hey, if your homegirl don't see a guy like this, and you are in love, he's taking care of you and all of this stuff. Don't let anybody else shame you for who you are with. I get that's exactly what he was trying to say. However, he mansplained it
Mhm.
and he messed it up. So then it has people coming at his head because of the way he said it and who was saying it. Now, if I heard like average Joe saying something like that, yeah, we'd get in a banter about it because okay, we in the same income. Now, are you trying to elevate yourself? Because that's the conversation that we need to have. You staying in that position, I should not have to I should not have to settle for you in that position if you don't want to move up from there. Now, if that's who you are, but that don't work for me, then we don't need to be in a relationship because I don't need to change you and you don't need to make me come down to your level. Or how I see it. But yeah, I really think that what he said, what should not have come from him, was misconstrued. I get what he was trying to say,
No. He
but
said
no.
exactly what he meant. He said
As
exactly
a
what he
man, he mansplained the hell out of it. He mansplained the hell. Like I heard it with married woman ears. I'm not gonna lie to you. there's a
That's
there's a
fair.
difference. I heard
That's
it with
fine.
married woman ears.
Part the part that we're skipping over is, and I feel like this the part that he skipped over is that most men are not comfortable not
At
contributing to
all.
their household. They just
No.
are not. They are mean
Mm-hmm.
when they, let's just say, and we don't say this enough, and enough
Devil
men
don't have
don't say
nothing
it
on
either.
them
Men are mean to
when they don't
women
have money.
when they don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not gonna, your homeboy not gonna say it to you, your uncle not gonna say it to you. You can ask a million women around the room how many men have ever been
The
mean to
same.
you, and all of them were, at least 80 to 90% are gonna raise their hand. But if you ask men, have you ever been mean to a woman, nobody's gonna say anything.
Right.
Men are mean to women when they do not have their ish together.
Mm-hmm. And that's mostly the finances.
And that's also when it comes to the thing that they measure, because they measure a lot by money. They
Mm-hmm.
measure a lot of their worth by money and what they can provide. And when they can't do that, they are frustrated, they're short,
Mm-hmm.
they are, they're very curt in their responses, and they're mean, they're surly, whatever you want to say, when they don't have that thing together. And so I feel like that's the part that's being glazed over. And I find that men often glaze over that because it does not shine a good light on them. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here for like male bashing or none of that, because we've got our things too. But when it comes to that money, men treat women very, very poorly. When the woman is running the household financially, let's just say it
Mm-hmm.
like, when she is running the household financially, and that is not how they want it to be set up. Now, if you want it to be
Mm-hmm.
set up like that, live your life. But when they
Ask
don't
her
want,
about it.
right, when they want it to be set up that way, it's a very different outcome. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, he's a good man, and he said he is not.
Mm-hmm.
He is not, because we've seen all of the IGs, and we've seen all of the Facebooks about men who have decided to stay home and watch the children, and the tables turn and the woman goes out, and then you start hearing all of these conversations about, oh, I didn't realize it was so hard, or Now I feel some type of way about making decisions about the household because I don't bring in money. Aha, now you see what hand you were playing in
Mm-hmm.
controlling things. So I feel like more of that should have been said versus, well, women, if this is what he can do, then you should be okay with that. You're not telling other women of other groups to do that. Where it's not even a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at our culture, maybe because there's such a breakdown in our culture, so much was stripped from us, and we in some ways think like majority society, although we have our own inner workings within our culture. We don't have that established
Mm-hmm.
of what men do and what women do. And we don't have that established, I'm going to say, because that broke down in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s because the tables did turn. A lot of our women were head of household.
Mm-hmm. They were.
So, in society shifting to that, we've never let go of that traditional role, and men being okay with, well, maybe this is what our culture looks like now. We've never let that go. I don't know. I could just be
Breed.
right now.
I think it's a certain breed of men. All of
Ooh.
it. You can't speak. Huh? I'm saying it's a certain breed of man because I've run into different types of men, had conversations with different types of men, and of course the conversation with most men, because there's a difference between boys and men. We use the word men very, very loosely, very loosely. Anybody with a penis is not a man. Like it don't matter if he's 60, it don't matter if he's 30. That don't mean he's a man if he's in an unrighteous man way, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have those people who are irate, will make everybody's life hell in the house if they do not have money. Then on the
Right.
flip side, you have people that are passive aggressive because they're not making money. And then you have freeloaders who are like, sugar mama making money. My girl got 2 jobs.
Like,
Like,
right.
they rolling in dough. And then you do have the man who understands that things get rough from time
Right.
to time. Now this comes with experience. Now this ain't gonna happen for no somebody who never been through adversity. Not gonna happen at all. But in that, in saying that, that type of person is also the type that is willing to pull up their bootstraps and be like, I am going to help. I am going to do what I can do. So there are different breeds of men. Yeah, there are different breeds of men out there who display those emotions, but a lot of
It's okay. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Okay. I can now. What is your percentage say? Because when somebody calls, it like,
75.
okay, so it likely stopped. Let me see
Yeah,
if
it
I
did because now I'm at like 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
Yeah, like it restarts for on my end.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I
That's
can hear.
why we ended up with those 3 videos last time on my end.
Okay. It's showing that it's recording. Let me see if I can go to it. Yeah, okay. So it's still recording. Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, all in all, men get mean when they don't have money. But there are some men out there that actually live through experience and they're just like, you know what? The dollar it comes when it's supposed to come.
My problem, first of all, y'all, welcome to Poppin' P, where we eat barbecue
Welcome to Poppin' P.
because we hungry, okay?
I got
No,
a
we
whole
bring
watermelon I'm
light
not
and
eating.
levity to this life, this adulting that we know your parents were not doing, as
It's
well
not
as
the same.
crazy social media situations like this Tyler Perry one, right? But I feel like the problem is, or one of the issues, is that we're not having the real conversation. I feel like women have been having the conversation since the dawn of time.
Mm-hmm.
These mamas been talking to us about men. The grandma's been talking to us about getting married. They've been talking about what we should wear and what we should do and how we should act. We have been having these conversations for forever. Although I am glad that men are finally talking about things, I feel like they're not talking about the real things. I feel like they're glazing over the stuff that really needs to be talked about.
What's that,
If
girl?
you like, do you have leadership around you? Do you have somebody you can go to when you are not doing your best? How do you handle your woman making more money than you? How do you handle the relationship transitioning where your woman was doing one thing and now she's doing this? How do you handle the person that you're in a relationship outgrowing who they used to be and you're supposed to be growing right beside them? How do you handle those trends? We're not having a real conversation. We are aging. We're in our late 30s, 40s, 50s, and these podcasts, a lot of them, the ones who are popular, they are around our age group, and their conversations are not elevating. Their conversations are not changing. They're not shifting with their age. They're not shifting with their maturity. I'm finding that these late 30, early 40s men are still talking about things that 21 and 25-year-old men talk about. And it's like, y'all not talking about the real stuff. It's fun. You can get on there and you can have fun and it's good for views, but you need to have if your goal is really to elevate men and to get down to the nitty-gritty of like how do we become better people, we've got to start maturing these podcasts.
You
We've
gotta
got to
start being honest.
start being honest. And the reason why I don't listen to a lot of them, and I just feel like I'm too old. I feel like the topics that they're talking about are too young for me. Even though I am not married, I don't have children, I still feel like the thing, even though when they talk about that, they talk about it from a very young perspective.
Yeah.
And I can't understand it because it's like you're my age, but you're talking about it the way I would have talked about it when I was 23.
And I think a lot of that is because that's the way they're talking in the relationship. That's what happens.
Okay.
When is the way you talk to other people about a relationship is not I want to say that's how you talk in a relationship, but it's more so when you look at a person and how they talk around their partner, you can tell how they talk in a relationship. And so so say hypothetically, because I don't hold my tongue no more. I'm too old for that.
My friend grown up, y'all. My friend done grown
All the way. So hypothetically, say I was in this relationship, me and you are on the phone talking, but because my partner comes in, I start switching up how I talk around them. Because I don't want them to hear certain things that I say to you. It might do something to them. They might feel some type of way. Now, me and mine, we don't care because we are comfortable.
likely
But
already talked about it.
we are comfortable, but not settled in our relationship, if that
Okay.
makes sense. We consistently talk about the elevation that we want to have in our relationship, things that we have to do that we need to change up, things that we are doing that are not working for us. And sometimes the conversation is not pretty at all. Like we said, people don't like to tell the truth because they don't want to hurt each other's feelings. But what did we learn in that gym at Tuskegee? Sometimes when people need to leave you alone, you got to tell them the truth and hurt their feelings. That's what. So we have a conversation.
Baby, I remember when I said that.
I'm telling you, I remember somebody standing right there. I ain't gonna name no names, but he was standing right there in front of me. I was like, that girl's smart right there. She know things. But it's the truth. And so in relationships, and that's how a lot of people, when you look at a relationship, you're like, how he getting away with that? Or how she getting away with that? Because they let them. They let them.
Yeah,
If
rock
you
the
mix,
boat.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
don't rock the boat, if it don't tip over, we'll never figure out what's wrong with the ship. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, a lot of people do not speak truths in their relationships. So how can they podcast or speaking with others elevate if they're not even elevating the closest intimacy that they have?
Well, so since we on these podcasts though, but I really feel like they come under the guise of manly development. But I don't really truly believe that that's what it's for. It's really just not everybody, not all of them. It's just a way to make money.
I like
But
Dante Nero though. Man School 101. I do like
the
him.
problem I have with the ones that don't have true intentions behind them, the problem that I have with it is that you don't understand how much you're really influencing the younger guys coming up behind you.
Right.
Like you're out here saying outlandish things because it's going to be clickbait and you know the people are going to be talking and da 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 da. But there's a 17-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 12-year-old that found your video, is listening to it, and thinks that what you're saying is truth. And when you turn off that thing, you know, when you turn off the camera, you're like, yo, that was wild. Don't believe none of that you just said. But
Mm-mm.
they think that's truth.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that we need to be worried about is you've got two daughters over there. They're going to be interacting with the young men that are listening to this philosophy of manhood coming up now. They're going to be in a whole different world
I
with
got one daughter that
that.
said she's gonna be single her whole life. I got one of them. She was like, I was like, well, one day you might like. I don't want it. But you only, yeah, it's not for me. And I'm like, I kind of wish I was that smart when I was that young. I would have known that to chase no tail.
Becky, I wish, and this could be me aging. Call it what it is. I don't care. But
Mm.
I really wish people were out for more than just themselves, because
Yeah.
that's what it speaks to for me. That's what it sounds. Anytime I run across one and I'm like, y'all don't believe this stuff y'all saying. Y'all do not believe this
Uh-uh.
at all. You're just doing this because you know you're gonna get a check. I wish people would understand the impact that their voice has over our culture, because our children, the young folk coming up behind us, are very tech savvy. Everything they do is tech. They are online constantly and they are believing what you say because you don't. Again, we're always saying, I know we're not the new adults. We are the new adults. And I don't think we understand our impact as the new.
They not the new adults. They must not have been to a funeral this year because I done been to like 6 or 7 of them. I realized that my 36, my 37 is adulting. Okay, you
Mhm.
don't realize you an adult. Go to some funerals. See some people you love pass away. You gonna realize, oh snap, the level that was above me is starting to fade. What other level gonna get up there? What other
Mhm.
level? It's you. It's you.
You.
You're the new adult. That's it.
And they are really looking at you as the new adult. And you don't,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they see themselves as that. But
I
that's
think
exactly who they are.
I think I told you one time we were going to a pageant and I think I was on the phone with you and
Okay.
we were about to walk in and so this car pulls up next to me. I get my kids out the car
Oh.
and then yeah, and I realized that the car that pulled up next to me was some youth from my church, two sisters from my church. And
Mm-hmm.
one of them is like 17 and so I was like standing there for a second gathering my tribe and I started walking and then the 17-year-old says to me, I want to follow you because I don't know where I'm going. I looked around so swift, guys. I did not realize I was the adult in this situation
Correct.
and they were following me. Okay. So now I got to get this shit together because I'm like, okay, I can't lead them astray.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God it was just one door and we got in there. But
But we
yeah.
don't seriously anymore.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I don't understand the impact that our voice truly has over people. Which, I mean, same thing going back to Mr. Perry. What he said is truly impactful because the part that bothers me a little bit is women being in discomfort doesn't bother anybody.
Mm-mm.
I don't understand that. Women are verbally telling you it's too much. And folks are like, but this is what you asked for. No, it's not. I
No.
have rise to the occasion. It's not necessarily what I asked for. It's not what I asked for. It's not what I fought for. It's not what I want. But unless I want to roll over and let life defeat me, I have to
Mhm.
roll with the punches of what society throws at me. So I can't just give up. I gotta rise to the occasion. This is not to say that all women are out here balling out of control and got all of their stuff together. But what I'm saying is that we do act in ways sometimes where it's like, I got this. I don't need you to have it because this is what we've had to do.
It took
We,
me a long time to break
and if
that
we
down.
did that, we would be shells of ourselves
Right.
for someone to come rescue us. And as we've seen, nobody is going to come and rescue us. Nobody
And
wants to come rescue us. They want us to rescue ourselves, but they want us to rescue ourselves while acting like they are the ones rescuing us. I don't get it. The delusion. Okay? I don't understand.
imagine. No, like seriously, even you don't realize that I can't imagine. I don't want to say I can't imagine because that makes it seem like such a negative thing, but it's not. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine like if I had been single this whole time to get in a relationship, there would be so many walls of okay, I don't need your help. That needs to be broken down. Like I can take the
Oh,
trash out. I can wash dishes. I can
oh
walk
my
the
God.
dog.
Oh, yeah.
If I need to, I'll clean my car from time to time. I would say chivalry broke me down a
Mm-hmm.
little bit with that, but it was not a pretty picture because it's like, okay, you gonna take my car to get clean and you gonna wash it? Like that's what we doing? But I could do that myself. Like you don't have to do like I was fighting everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I want to talk about it. Ooh, let's talk about it.
Okay. And so for me, like breaking down the walls of asking for help, like the it looked like I wasn't, but it looked like to me I was just helpless. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking standard things that you should ask of a partner. But because for so long taught that, hey, you can do it on your own. You don't need nobody else to do it.
At all.
Handle that. What's the saying? If you want something done, do it yourself. Like, I'm president of the club. However, when I got into a relationship,
Founder. Okay.
it slowly had to break down. Number one, I know a lot of people see it as okay, if you leaning on your partner too much, then you're clingy or you needy, or some people look at it like oh, you need to ask them for help because they need to feel needed or wanted. Number one, I've never done that to a man. I
I've never.
no,
I
I'm not gonna do
I'm
that.
that way.
I say that. I say that, and I'll flip it on you though. I never done that to a man. I got
Mm-hmm.
married
Mm-hmm.
3 years in. After we get over the long like arguments, we done spewed out divorce every quarter, all of that stuff. Every quarterly. Hey, so we gonna do the separation or not?
Cause you tell. Okay.
Like, listen, going online to look up separation by state,
Yeah.
writing down stuff. Like the first 3 years of marriage, I don't care what nobody say. If they talk about, "Hey, we had a honeymoon," bitch, shut up. So, because
Dang, I
let
can't even. Honey.
I'm saying, let that motherfucker wake up, breathing on your neck one good time, and
Right
you in heat,
here.
and
This
you
section.
don't like it.
Why here?
Why are you in my area? I need you to leave. I get it. I get it. Both our names are on this house, but I need you to depart from where I am right now for us to survive this. The first 3 years, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it to anybody. The first 3 years, if you can skip it,
Zero.
zero, zero. The first 3 years, but year 4, when you start building each other back up from all of that stuff, the nitpickings and like, baby, I didn't really mean the divorce. I didn't mean to print off the paper for separations and all of that stuff. You're right. I stayed with all the kids and we need each other. You start to think about some things.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
But I say all that to say, after the first 3 years, and when you
Mhm.
start getting and understanding each other and realizing that you really are in this together, like you can be best of friends, but you're gonna still argue because you come from different places,
Yeah.
different people. So you got your own baggage that you're figuring out. That's why I say later on in life when people get together, they figured out a lot of shit that the young marriages had to go through. We
Mhm.
young marriages bring a lot of baggage. I don't care what
The old
nobody
ones
says.
too.
They do, and people have a chance to have therapy though. They do have
That's-
that chance.
Let
They
me
do.
tell. Let me tell you. So I had a friend come by, and
I got a friend.
a friend. So I had a friend come by. Friend, I needed to. I was gonna meet this friend. We were gonna go to breakfast, and we are gonna have like a whole situation, right? But I ended up one of my tires was flat, so I needed to call AAA. Call AAA, because first thing I was gonna do was get out there and change the tire myself, and then I
Of
remembered
course.
because that's how I'm wired. And I was like, Bree, you pay AAA. Do not get out there and change that tire. Call AAA.
It's
So I
okay.
called AAA. AAA comes out and does AAA thing. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't fix. It was something that I needed. I needed the tube valve situation to be fixed. It was broken. It was not going to hold any air. So he put it on the spare. And after he put on the spare, friend showed up. Friend came and I was like, well, I got to go handle this business so I can actually ride around in my car. Cool, no problem. So went with me. Got the tire in the back. I'm going to the tire place that AAA advised that I go to. And I get there and we're just waiting to be serviced. And he's like, tell me exactly what's wrong with the car. Not the car, the tire.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell him in some roundabout way, I'm not thinking nothing of it. Tell him what it was, gone about my business. So the man comes up to my car, finally telling me, like, it's your time to be serviced. I hop out of the car immediately because I'm in my mode. I'm like, all right, let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
this is what you need to do. It's in the back trunk. Let me lift it up and let me get you this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And then after I do all of that, he takes it and he goes and does what he needs to do to fix it. I get back in the car and he's just like, I just asked you what was wrong with the tire. I was like, yeah. He was like, so I could get out and do all of that you just did. And I was like, boy, I don't be thinking about that. In retrospect, I get what he was trying to do, but also I get what he was trying to do. It was one or two things, and I don't know. But I was like, but I told him, I was like, this is my everyday life. You are not in my life every day. So I handle my life the way that I know how to manage it. So that means I have to operate as if you are not here. Because number one, you're not asking for a spot.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, you're not going to be here tomorrow. So I'm not going to act like I'm going to depend on you for these 30 seconds that you're here to do a thing. Number one, so you can feel like you're the man. Because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to feel like a man sitting in a car while a woman is getting out to explain the thing and you sitting in the car and folks probably looking at you. It was either that or you truly did want to help. Either way, it didn't cross my mind that's what it was because my everyday life, I have to manage it. I
Mm-hmm.
have to handle things and get things done without you being in my presence. So you being in my presence for 30 minutes does not that doesn't make me want to
Flip you
like
over.
relinquish the
Yeah.
control that I have over my life because there's a man with me. No, like you're not gonna be here tomorrow, so I'm not even thinking about you in that way. I'm not
Right.
requiring you to take anything, and so that is the part that I think sometimes men don't understand because when I explained that to him, he was just like, "Huh," as if it was a foreign concept.
Never thought of it.
He never thought about the fact I said if we were together maybe 6 to 9 months from now, I could see you probably having a little bit of a problem because at that point I should be a little bit more comfortable
Mm-hmm.
relinquishing a little bit of control on certain things to allow you to handle them. I was like, but you're gonna be here for now and then tomorrow you're gonna go and get back on a plane and go do what you gotta go do, right?
Yeah.
That person. But
Cause I'm already like, hold on, plane? Where
I
he
had to make
going?
sure and I knew I saw the wheels swirling. So look, but I sometimes when me and the homegirls are talking and we're just like, men don't understand it's a lot for us to relinquish control when we know that you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
When we know that you're not going to really step up
Mm-hmm.
and take the mantle, there's no reason for us to act and pretend like you're this man because it's gonna make you feel macho, or it's gonna make you feel like the man that you need to be when you're around a woman. No, if you're not gonna be here to do this every day, and you're not saying, "Hey, I want to be this," I'm not thinking about that. It
Right.
doesn't even cross my mind at all.
If I had to, I mean, I can still change a tire, but anything with a car, I need help. Oh, sir, could you please
But that
help?
makes sense. You've been
Yeah.
in a relationship 10 plus years, you've been married for X amount of years. That's expected,
I
right?
kind of hate it though because it's like I was way more independent than.
But that becomes a lot of contention. I remember having that conversation with one of our very good guy friends, and he was talking about, at the time, not the person he's with now, but he was living, him and the live-in girlfriend were together, and he wanted to be like, she won't give up control on this and that. And I'm like, yo, relax. She's been living life on her own for a long time. You gotta let her ease into allowing you to have control. She don't know that she can trust you with the
That's
things
what
that,
it is.
and that's what it is. And a lot of times we don't give away that trust because you haven't demonstrated that you're that trustworthy.
Girl, I done had 3 kids with this man, been living with him. I ain't trust him for like
But
5 years.
right, but the problem that I have with the assumption is, because I have because I got flat pecs and broad shoulders and a penis, when I'm around you, automatically you need to defer to me. Absolutely not. Because you're not going to be here tomorrow. Now, if you're saying you're going to be here tomorrow, then yeah, I'll defer to you. But if this is just a thing where you pop in and out, it's goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we
Absolutely.
cool on that. Like, if I should add
Mhm.
trash, I'll take it out.
Right.
But me expecting, I don't expect it. Not at all.
That's so crazy. I remember when I didn't expect, but I expect now. I'm just saying, there's just certain things when you get to a certain level, you just like, they
So
gonna do this. I expect it.
now you're looking at the producer with your side.
He actually not here today. The producer's at his other job today.
No, get it. Like, yes, it would be nice to relinquish that. And I do that a bit when I'm with my father, but I do that with my father because I know what my father's going to always be there, right? So I know there's certain things that he would prefer to handle. But when you don't have that intimacy with a woman, when you don't have that trust with a woman, you
Yeah.
cannot expect a woman who has been able to navigate life on her own
You just give it
to
up.
automatically defer to you because now you as the man are in her presence. It does not work like that. And I need them to understand that there is a level of trust,
Yeah.
understanding that has to be met in order for me to be like, oh, okay, so I can probably release some of this. I don't have to be on 25/7. My friends who are mothers and have been married and no longer married, and who have situationships, that's one of the biggest conversations that they have. Like, these men want to be a part of me, but they don't want the whole thing, because the whole thing requires a certain type of intimacy in order for me to trust you and to rely on you the way you want me to.
I
And
think I need to
I
say.
don't get
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm just gonna say I can't. I feel like if we had a man right here, he'd be probably countering me and saying no, but, and I'm like, listen, we're sitting here, we're telling you,
Mm-hmm.
you got a married woman saying the exact same thing that a single woman is saying. You just gotta listen to it.
Trust.
The-
If I act in the married world, if there's a bunch of dishes in the sink, and you tell me that you gonna wash the dishes, and you don't wash the dishes, you just broke a promise.
are you expecting them to be done like right in that moment when they say, hey, I'm gonna
No, I give 72 hours. I get it. People get tired. We got churn on churn on churn. We got jobs. But after 72 hours, if the dishes are still in the sink, I'm going to need not to have an attitude when I get an attitude with you because I trusted you.
now you gotta accept my attitude.
You got Yes, you gotta accept my attitude because you gave me this attitude. You said you were going to do the dishes. Now we running into I gotta wash a fork at a time. So yeah, but you still want dinner.
Oh,
You
look,
still want me to create miracles.
come on, talk
So
about
I'm
it.
saying you can't give me one. You can't break promises, even though you may not see them as promises. That's something that alleviates my task so that I can do more with the children, or do more with the house, or do more in my business. Because
Yeah.
you said you weren't going to do it, so I took it off my list. I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Whoo, I can take a breath right here," but then you didn't do it. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm clenched up again. Now bitch is trying to again.
Not clenched up.
I'm saying these small
Look.
promises. I think that's like in the singledom. It
Mm-hmm.
like that's you feed these kind of like things that you can take care of yourself, but you're like, I'm gonna give you this chance. Can you go to the store and give me a pack of peanuts? It's as simple as a pack of peanuts. But if you come back with motherfucking cashews, that means you're not a good listener. We can't do
And
that.
care about what I really wanted.
You didn't care. You
Oh, wait a
didn't call
minute.
me. You didn't
On
call
the
me to say, is this right?
but on the counter, a man would be like, "But I brought something back though."
You know what? I got you. I got you. So when you ask for barbecue chicken and I make just regular stewed chicken and rice, and you say, but I asked for barbecue. Oh, I asked for peanuts. But I cooked something though.
A little
I
side of barbecue sauce.
I cooked something though. That's the listen.
That's it.
Nowadays, I fire off with these cutbacks, but we laugh about it because we've been together a long time. Now we can laugh about it.
Well,
We can have an
to my
argument less than 24 hours.
should you watch this and be like, "Oh, she talking about me." It's all love. Still love you like my cousin, but that's what that was. But had a conversation, um, maybe a few weeks ago, and we've had this conversation before. But when I was explaining to you that I think in 2020, I hadn't even considered the fact that I didn't think about um, physically living with anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and it was if I don't have that level of trust, I don't even think of you in that light. There's no reason for me to even allow my mind to logically run rampant. And I know that you hate that part of me because you want me to dream and imagine and have these things.
Ah.
My mind, I am so like, nope, because I see the writing on the wall. It's not moving beyond. There's no need for me to ever think, dream, or visualize more because you're not even giving me more to go off of. I don't want to make up because I find women do this often. We'll make up more in our heads.
Oh yeah.
We look up and realize he ain't never did none of that.
Not. Mm-mm.
He did
I
nothing.
like, and that's what I'm saying. They get away with it because you
Yeah.
just let it go. You let it
Mhm.
go, and it's
I don't even
yeah.
let my mind go there. So, and I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing. I don't know. Hey, therapist, I need to talk to some therapists about it. But I don't even let my mind go there because look, I still got to manage me every day, and so I got to stick with what I know is true.
I,
Try, test it.
I'm a hopeless romantic, but I'm a hopeless romantic that believes I have trust issues. I was in, like I said, I was in a relationship for 5 years. I'm like trying to find stuff, but just keeping it. At one point, I was like, "Is he straight?" He ain't exhibit no signs, no signs. But I was just like, the way he flipped them pancakes just now was just a
Correct.
little too much with the wrists. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you just find these things. So I can say yes, I am a hopeless romantic. I believe that whatever will happen will happen. I get all giddily and stuff, but also I have trust issues, and that's why the circle is small. And it is what it is. It is what it is.
Look, y'all, welcome to Poppin' Peanuts. Okay. Because we know that this is not how your mama was trusting your daddy. Your daddy knew. Okay. Okay.
Blindly.
Your daddy knew. If your daddy and your mama stayed together, your daddy knew that he was going to take care of mama. Period. He understood that assignment off top. If they stay together, I'm not talking to those who it was a dip and dash. I'm sorry, I don't know that life. I didn't grow up. I grew up with parents. That's all I can talk to. I do have friends who did not have that. I can't speak to their experience. But if your parents were together, daddy knew he was taking care of mama off top. Now, mama might have had, in her mind, she was like, I'm working because I need to provide, and there's a certain lifestyle that we want to have, and it's going to require two incomes, and whatever conversations they had as grown up men, that ain't the conversation we having now, okay? These are conversations we having right now because I'm changing the tire on my own because he's not here. My dad knew to teach me how to change that tire because he knew a man was not going to be
Not even. Yo, no.
He knew telling me all my life. I feel sorry.
He was trying to teach you to be independent. I think he just, you know what? Maybe that's what it is. You know how when you correct it, you're an overcorrector? Maybe your dad was an overcorrector.
Probably.
Overcorrector.
Therapy. Keeps
Look
on
at
giving.
that. Poppin' P.
No, like it was just an understood. Now we know that there were situations where mama had to do everything on her own, or if you had a single father, daddy had to do everything on his own. But for the most part, in previous generations, our grandfathers, our grandparents, and our parents, my parents are boomers, they knew he knew his role going in before they even had conversations about it. He understood his role and she understood her role. Now, how they decided to manage that in the household, it might have looked a little different, but there was already an understanding of what was going to happen. So you came in with that mindset versus, hey, you got 50 on these bills.
Right. Can I say the way I was raised, like thinking about it now, this is therapy because girl, I'm thinking about childhood right now. The
Come on,
way
talk.
that I was raised, like both of my parents had jobs. My dad was a barber and he became a pastor. My mom was the one who went into like the industry. She worked at the what was it called? Something like a steel mill. She worked shipyard. She worked at a naval shipyard. And so I witnessed my mother going to work, but I witnessed both of my parents going to school at the same time. One of them going out of state, one of them being here. I witnessed my mother going to work and my dad being the one to be at home with us, teaching us how to cook, helping us with homework and things of that matter. So even when it came down to it, my parents wasn't even doing the adulting that was going on because my dad, even though he was a stay-at-home dad, he made his schedule around being able to be home and cook for us at a certain time. Then my mom would get home, she'd go to class, all of that stuff. Now we did have like somebody who would come in and help from time to time, babysit, that kind of thing. But for the majority of childhood, it was like there was a section in my life where it was like, yeah, dad is home and he's doing this and mom is at work. And then there was a section like mom is at work, but she's at home doing, spending time and dad is out at school. So, we did the interchange, but yeah, I think people rely too much on looking at other couples instead of figuring out their own route.
And so that I know I've said this in previous podcasts. I know that I've said this in previous episodes. A lot of us spend so much time talking about these hypothetical scenarios instead of what? Just diving into one on your own.
Gotta dive in.
That you keep complaining about. Just go and have one.
Mm-hmm.
I am finding that it used to be women were like, we were so like scared to be in relationships because we were tired of being heartbroken. I'm finding that men are just as scared. And it shows up in the form of these podcasts and all the angry rants that you see them going on Facebook and Instagram. I think it's just a version of fear. It's just a different form of fear of being hurt. And it's just like, baby, you got to run that risk. You just got to do it.
Like, who told men that whenever you are scared or you don't understand, get angry? Get upset.
Everybody.
Like, who
Everybody.
TV do that?
Every TV show tells you that. Every movie tells you that. When you cry as a little kid, they tell you to suck it up and be a man.
I forgot about that. You know, Ray.
Every uncle tells you that. Nobody tells you it's okay to cry until you at a funeral. So it's
I tell my kids it's okay to cry all the time because I'm new mom. I'm damaging my kids. No damage. But if they're crying, I'm like, it's okay to cry, but you need to be able to elevate from crying. Like crying is only going to, like, I'm not saying only, but crying gets your emotions out. But from there, what do we do next? I say cry as much as you need to. But from
I'm
there, what do we do?
okay to cry. I don't remember. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure Mama may have said something like that. But from Daddy, it was like, "Hey, suck that up real quick. You'll be all right." His favorite line, which I hate, and I need to go. I need to go to therapy about it. Suck it up. You'll get over it. You're
Hey.
young, or he would say, "You're young. You'll get over it." The not truth at all. You're young. You'll get over it. Suck it up. You'll get over it. Sir, no, I'm not.
No.
30.
Enter 40 and I'm still going to therapy over what happened that day. Guess what, Dad? I got over.
Had different we've had different versions of parenting. You had your mother and your father, and then they interchanged the roles, as you know, one needed to go off and work, one needed to go off to school. And then I saw mine transition from mama passing away to daddy stepping up and being all of the things that they say women can be and women should do. And sometimes when I hear people have these conversations about strict gender roles, I'm like, mm-mm. It's whatever works in your household, not what you force, not what you command, but whatever really truly works for your household should flow. Because I saw daddy do all of it. Now, did he do it perfectly? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the things that we have strict gender roles for men, I saw that. And the things that we have strict gender roles for women, I saw him do that. I saw him do the hair. I saw him do the clothes shopping and the talking about his version of talking about sex and talking about periods and things that you would traditionally lean on a woman to do for whatever works for your household. It's okay to rely on the gender roles as a base. Put that base as a base. But if you need to shift some things temporarily, or if you need to shift some things in order for the household or the relationship to run smoother or better, then you just have to do that.
You almost made me
I
cry.
feel like that's what, circling back, Tyler Perry should have said.
I honestly think it's because Tyler Perry said it. And what he said, it was trash.
I feel like people have said this before and it's gotten the same reaction, but I think now women are really paying attention to these conversations because it's so much conversation. When these podcasts came out, when everybody started doing podcasts really been popping for the past 10 years, right? Maybe 15 for real. 15, but like really popular the past 10 years. The past 5 years, blown all the way up. Everybody's on podcasts, right? Including Poppin P. What's up, y'all? But I think when you think back 10, 15 years on these podcasts and people doing blogs and all that, how many very popularized blogs and podcasts did you find where women were just bashing men? You did it. I'm not going to say it didn't exist, but to this magnitude where you have all of these high profile men or whatever you want to call them, just finding ways to say, I am better and you are not. And this is why I haven't chosen you. And this is why you won't get chosen. This is what I have. And this is what you'll never have. Like, it's like watching little kids at the playground, like nanny boo boo. And like, you nanny boo boo in me, but you really want what I got.
Right.
How you gonna nanny boo boo and you want the thing that I got? I don't understand. The occasional women that they find to come on these podcasts to then stamp what they say.
Oh,
It's like get somebody with a whole brain. That's number one. Get somebody with a whole brain. Stop having these folks up here with half thought out ideals. Stop getting children. I'll find that a lot of these older 30-plus-year-old men, you go on their podcast and they have very young women, 18, 19, 20 years old.
okay, cool.
In your late 30s, you need to be having conversations with women that are in their late 20s, early 30s, in their
Right.
30s. Why are
Hell,
you
you
having
be having conversation with women in their 40s, to be
why are you
honest
having
with
children? Why are you looking for children to stamp what you're saying? Again, because it's for numbers.
you. Ego.
I can't stand it because I know it's for numbers, which is why I scroll past that stuff so quick on IG. You know,
Listen, if you're the oldest one in the room because you have experience, then you're trying to feed your ego.
of course.
The ego can lead you.
I don't think so, though. I think yes, it's trying to feed ego, but I also think it is trying to play to a younger audience. You're older. You got to get somebody younger in order to create longevity, because people like us, we're going to listen to you long enough to realize, all right, we're not listening to that no more. But you need people that are younger that can follow you as they get older. You want a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old, because that means that you'll have longevity on these
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook and Instagram and all these platforms. But you're not going to have that longevity when it comes to us, because at some point we're going to be like, first of all, we're busy with kids, we're busy with careers, we're busy with household, or we're just not listening to that nonsense anymore.
I think who said it? It was, gosh, I can't remember his name, but it was in the movie Dazed and Confused. He was like, you know what I like about high school girls? I keep getting older and they stay the same age. That's how you feel. That's how you
Oh,
feel. They stay the same age. You
oh,
will keep getting older. The audience that was following you is going to keep getting older, but your content is not changing. So therefore, you're going to stay right in the
and
same age.
and, I, and that's the
That's
bigger
what you
thing.
said. It doesn't
That's
grow.
biggest takeaway from everything we've talked about today. We've gone around in a circle and then brought it back, but it is people not having good intentions with their podcasts and their platforms aside from making money. That's it.
But thus that turns in they don't have good intentions with their, I said life, their life.
Okay. So this is Poppin P. We are, I don't know what week this is, but we're getting it together, y'all, okay? Because it's real life happening over there in South Carolina. It's real life happening out here in Dallas, and we're going to make it work no matter what. What you been up to? Last before we get out, because we're right at the hour. We don't want to keep y'all on too long, because we know y'all old and y'all about to go to sleep. But
Okay. All right, twitching down now.
what you been up to lately? Like what you been? What's got you groaning out here?
I have, to be honest with you, this is the first weekend, last weekend that I had off from funerals in about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So, like
Okay.
I said, been feeling real grown because the level has been increasing as people have been dropping on us.
Mhm.
But besides that, working on business, doing a relaunch. I had to push it back. Got a business mentor. I'm really excited about that. Been doing some conferences, so that's awesome. And trying to generalize and organize the things that's going on in my life. But I'm excited. I'm tired. I meant to say you made me cry. Almost made me cry when you was talking about your dad and when your mama passed, because I really just thought about the simple fact that this one person was taking on two children, and I cried because if that dude ever conks out on me,
Mm-hmm.
godmothers and godfathers unite. I'm gonna need it.
It's crazy when I and not to drive home a point, so hold back your tears when I say what I'm saying. It's crazy for me to know, like Mariel's son just turned 9.
Mhm.
Your daughter's 10, about to be 11.
Mhm.
When I think about the fact that I was 10 and I see your kids sometimes, I'm like, there's no way I was 10 and went through that experience and like really had a mature mind about it. Like, which is why I tell y'all sometimes, like, I feel like I was a different person after that. Like, I
Wow.
kind of don't remember that much about uh Bree before that situation, because I really feel like there was a switch and I became like, y'all you always talk about like, oh Bree, you were so mature and you acted. I feel like I turned into that because I was not always
I
that. I
like to
turned in
say,
through that.
once I came into your life, I feel like you got a little lighter. I'm gonna blame myself on that one. You got a little lighter. School.
Look, because this. No, but seriously, it's interesting to watch this whole parenting thing, and then sometimes I think about how my father managed it, and then how my mother managed it, and what I remember pieces of their relationship when I see you and yours, and other friends and theirs, and it's just like, yo, life be lifing out here, and these trivial things that people talk about in these podcasts, on these social of the medias every single day. I'm like, I need y'all to mature your content.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to mature your content for the folks out here that are really living real life and not living in whatever delusion you're trying to push forward.
Uranium land.
Because it's just not real. It's not real.
Facebookville. No, that was hard.
It's crazy. But let's stop it right here.
What are you doing? No, you got 55 seconds. What have you been up to?
What am I doing? Honestly, right now, I'm excited about birthday number 40. So I will be 40 in January, and I'm excited because I'm going to Senegal for my birthday, y'all.
I'm excited.
Senegal is one of my top 3 places that I want to go, that I want to travel to on my bucket list. Senegal, Namibia, and Switzerland. So if anybody wants to sponsor me, please do. But I'm excited about going to Senegal for the birthday. I'm looking forward to it. A couple of the friends are going, and I have a friend that lives there, so I'll get to see them as well. So kind of excited about that. Also, I am entertaining moving abroad again. We can talk about that. Entertaining that. I don't want to go too deep into it. But so working on that, talking to people about that. But that's it. That's what I've been up to. And advocating for myself.
Because you must.
Advocating for myself because I don't want to walk around accepting things that I know I wouldn't accept for anybody else, and I don't want to make anybody the exception. No matter the title or where their importance in my life. You got to advocate for yourself and make sure that people are treating you the way that you want to be treated, not the way that they want to treat you. And that's it. That's what I've been up to, girl.
Nice. I'm gonna try to make that trip though. I'm like pull off one of them Houdini miracle. God, can you hear me? And try to make that trip.
So right after this, we sure can. We can talk about it, and if you can come, I would love it. If not, I absolutely understand. There is going to be another trip later on in the year. So if you can't do this one at the top of the year, the one towards the end of the year probably will be more feasible and make more sense. Because I know this was kind of last minute to tell people like get your coins together so we can go to Senegal. But
it's the only reason I would get my coins together. Travel. I said that's the only reason I get my coins together.
But it's not cheap. Like, so Senegal is not very expensive as far as like living and visiting and doing the things that you would do as a tourist. It's really just the planning, number one, and then number two, making sure that the lodging is going to be sufficient, and then the flight. The flight is usually the most expensive thing, and that really depends on what airline you choose. So there are certain airlines you choose that the flight will be more reasonable, but it's going to take you longer to get there, right? Versus if you go another airline, that's a bit more. It's bigger, and they got a direct flight. It's going to cost you a couple more coins. So that's really the biggest part about getting over there. But I'm gonna make a way out of no way. It's happening. I want to go. I'm excited to go. Yeah, and hopefully nothing changes it. But that's it. That's what I've been doing, girl.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
Good vibes. So thank y'all for rocking with us on Poppin' P today. But we talked about what we talked about today. We talked about the men's,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about Mr. Perry,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about real adulting,
Real.
fake stuff, and we talked about women really need to be able to trust and rely on men in order to relinquish some of that power that we hold on to.
Rightfully so.
So this has been Poppin' P, where we bring logic and levity from crazy internet scenarios and the fact that we know for a fact that this is not the adulting that your parents were doing. Okay,
Right.
we're out here living completely different. We hope y'all enjoyed this podcast.
Bye.
Okay.